Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about something that comes up that I should cover in detail. And that's a lot of people are like, Jason, why do you do back off work with 10s with 50%? Why do you have your other advanced lifters do it? And here's what it comes down to. And what people forget is that, number one, when we're dealing with big barbell exercises, we don't want to be really close to failure. As long as we are getting quality reps and volume accrues, we are going to get hypertrophic stimulus. All right. And I think what people need to look at is a couple different factors. What we're balancing is recovery, how beat up lifters are, relative strength, and the fact that this is back off work. You know, again, whenever we're looking at a workout, people who don't understand programming, who aren't coaches, who don't write programs, who don't have any real serious lifters that they work with, they tend to hold this very focused view on the one thing you are doing and without understanding the larger picture, meaning what you do midway through a workout should not look like what you do at the beginning of a workout. So when people see that, they're like, oh, well, you know, you should be doing so many reps with this weight, right? You shouldn't be going that light of a percentage. But that's if you were fresh and you were using that as a primary training modality, and we're not doing that. This is strength-based training. Okay? This is not bodybuilding to where you come in and start with pump work and end with pump work. Our goal for getting stronger is to maximize neural drive, neuromuscular efficiency, lift heavy weights, and then maximize hypertrophy off the back end of it. Now, maximizing hypertrophy has a whole lot to do with fatigue and recovery. Okay, so they're not understanding that this is not the way you start a workout, right? All this 50% work for 10s and 5 sets of 10 and doing 5 sets of 10 on supplemental lifts with 2 or 3 reps still in reserve at the end. This is done later in a training session. This is not what you do at the beginning. All right, so you have that. And then they're not understanding that sometimes through weeks and waves, you're going to have lighter weeks. And for some of my lifters, I will ramp those through waves to where they go heavier, but they only hit one fairly heavy week. But as you get more advanced, you can't even do that. At least not very often. So when you understand these things from this context, you can't take an individual week or an individual part of a workout and assume that's the totality of the training. Right. So the things to think about when we do this is, number one, we're doing heavy work first. So some of this stuff on the back off, so I mean, let's say on the weeks that this stuff was filmed, which was quite some time back, I did something like 11 reps with 500 pounds on a deadlift. I did 525 for 8 the next week, and then I did 555, which will be in this one, for 5. Then we did the 10 rep back off work at about 300 pounds. Now, people are going, but you could do 500 for 10 reps once. There's no way I could do it for a second set. It's too fatiguing. If I were to go for a second set with 500, after doing, say, 500 for 10, I'm going to get 5 or 6 reps. Well, we're back down into heavy work. We're not getting the metabolic fatigue we want. We're not getting the practicing the reps. We're not getting the practicing of the rep work. We're not getting the hypertrophy we want either. The hypertrophy the muscles involved. Okay, so number one, you can't replicate it. These are for one peak set, and this is our strength building. Okay, so what are we doing with all this back off work? Well, we've already attenuated and fatigued the upper threshold fibers. And when we're dealing with strong lifters, like weaker lifters are like, well, I could do close to my 10 rep max for 3 sets. Yeah, because you deadlift 400 pounds. 600 pound deadlifter's not going to be able to do that. They're going to get one set. They're going to get one set. Same thing even with their bench. A 400 pound bencher is going to get one set. or a 450 bencher. You know, they're going to get one set. That's it. It close to 70% for 10. And they're done. They're not going to be able to replicate it because the relative strength as you get more advanced, you can't sustain the workloads anymore. Your human body still has limits, even though your strength is high and you can put an all-out performance once, you can't sustain that high level. So, we fatigued the upper threshold fibers. They also recruit again easier. They're fatigued, but they can still recruit just with less force. And all the intermediate fibers still need to be hypertrophied. So if we come in and we drop to 50%, we reach those upper threshold fibers and everything again much more quickly with less weight. That's number one. Number two, what else do we have going? Advanced lifters can hit the higher threshold motor units and muscle fibers faster and easier than less skilled lifters. That means we can take a lighter percentage of our max and on the very first rep can hit it. In other words, a novice doing their 10 rep max isn't going to reach all of those motor units till around rep 6 on a 10 rep max. Okay. An advanced lifter can do it on their first rep because we're used to getting to them quicker. We're used to training them. We usually have years and years of experience training them consistently. We also have smoother, more explosive reps right out of the hole. So, when you understand it from that context, doing 10s is back-off work at 50%, perfectly fine. Same thing with your other supplemental work, leaving reps in reserve, because we are able to get more out of every rep. And if we're going light enough that we're not destroying ourselves, we can recover because, again, the relative tonnages are higher. Someone's looking at that going, well, you know, that's compared to your max strength, those workloads are low, but compared to an intermediate, our total session tonnage, even on our smaller movements, is higher. We're still lifting more weight than them. And if we're fatiguing and recruiting the upper threshold fibers over and over and over, and all the intermediate ones, and utilizing them on every rep, we are stimulating effective hypertrophy during our back-off work. And that's the name of the game. We are trying to use it to get bigger. We use the peak sets to get stronger and to gain some gains, and then we use all the volume to hypertrophy to raise our strength ceiling. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.